Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thank you very much for joining me on this morning. We got a lot to cover coming off the two games the Padres have played against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. That series will continue tonight and Thursday night as well, both games at 7:10. Before we get rolling into everything, and I'm sure everybody's got an opinion on the first two games, both games were very, very heated. We'll get into that. We're going to get into, the pitching a little bit. We got a lot to cover today, and I'm glad you joined me. But if you're tuning in for the very, very first time, we'd very much appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. We're on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 9 a.m. Occasionally, we'll take a Friday off and do a Thursday night show if the Padres aren't playing that night. But please subscribe, please like, please send your comments, and make sure to turn on notifications. And again, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And very much send your questions, comments, concerns about the ball club in. We're going to also tell you a little bit about the new Aztec baseball coach a little bit later on in the program, but we're going to get the ball rolling. Monday night, Padres had a pretty good game plan going in against the Dodgers. Unfortunately, the Dodgers put up a 5-run fourth inning against Dylan Cease, who really started out great. He struck out the first 5 batters he faced. His overall numbers ended up going 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, 9 strikeouts. Takes the loss, his record 2-6. Going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Got a 4.69 ERA. The bullpen came in that night, did a nice job. Wandy Peralta for an inning, a hit. David Morgan, real nice job. 2 innings, 1 hit, saved the bullpen, had a walk, couple of strikeouts. And it was a big night for Shohei Ohtani. And I know everybody was giddy about Ohtani throwing 99, 100 miles an hour. He didn't have command. And when you're coming off arm surgery, and it wasn't the straight Tommy John surgery. He had one of those a number of years ago. This was a little bit different. Don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't a full-blown Tommy John surgery. But hey, he hadn't pitched until since August 23rd of 2023, and he was wild. Fernando got him for a little dunker out to center field. Could have been caught, maybe, if it had gone another 2 or 3 feet, but he jammed him, but he was able to, with his strength, to get it into center field. He eventually came around to score. So Ohtani, sweeper, I don't remember him having a sweeper. I thought that sweeper looked pretty good. But hey, 1 inning, couple of hits, gave up an earned run through 28 pitches, lacked command, excellent velocity. And, Dodgers will go from there. The other thing, the Dodgers, as usual, they have an advantage. Ohtani doesn't count as a pitcher, so they've got 13 pitchers plus Ohtani. And when he's able to eventually ramp up to go 4, 5, maybe 6 innings, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of the bullpen. And we've seen in the first couple of games, Dodgers bullpen is on fumes. And they've won the first 2 games by bullpen. And tonight they got Emmet Sheehan going, who's going after having Tommy John surgery. He's been working his way back. He hasn't pitched in a major league game since 2023. So the Dodgers are winning right now, especially against the Padres, throwing bullpen games. And I don't know what Dave Roberts has got. I mean, Kopech's not going to pitch tonight. They wanted to stay away from him last night. Man, he was trying to hit the bull there. And Luis Arraez bailed him out on that 2-0 pitch when he fouled out down the left field line with the bases loaded to Kike Hernandez. So Kopech's not going to pitch. They stayed away from Kirby Yates on Tuesday night. Banda's pitched in the first couple of games. Can't imagine him coming back. I don't know what the Dodgers have in their bullpen tonight. They'll probably make a roster move and bring somebody up. Who knows what the Dodgers are going to do. And then tomorrow they got Yamamoto going against the Padre right-handed rookie Ryan Bergert. But the first 2 games of the series, Dodgers have showed why they're the Dodgers and why they're the defending world champions. They're getting by with less than great pitching, and not the pitch. They're tired. They're wore down. They've thrown more innings than any bullpen in baseball, and the Padres still aren't able to beat these guys. Padres are 1-4 against the Dodgers this year. And man, last night was frustrating. They had so many opportunities. They left the bases loaded 3 different times last night. Bogarts, man, you talk about having a rough night at the old ball yard. How about 0 for 5 and banging into 2 uh, double plays last night. Just having all kinds of problems. Padres had the bases loaded 3 different times last night, and all they got out of it was a sacrifice fly, for crying out loud. But going back to Monday night, Dodgers won at 6-3. They out hit the Padres 10-6. Padres made a couple of errors. Padres were 1 of 8 with runners in scoring position. Dodgers were 5 of 13 with runners in scoring position. And Fernando had a good ball game, 2 for 4, a run scored. Other than that, not a whole lot. I mean, Arise 1 for 4, Manny 1 for 4. Hit that home run, his 11th of the year. He also had a sac fly. Gavin Sheets 1 for 3. Bogarts 1 for 4 that night with his 12th double of the year, drove in a run. But the bottom of the lineup, the 6 through 9 hitters, and they mixed and matched a little bit. They had a couple of pinch hitters. The bottom order of the Padres, 6 through 9 in game 1, 0 for 14 with 1 walk. And you look at the Dodger, bottom of their order, they're killing the Padres right now. They're killing the Padres. And then you go to last night, Tuesday night, Padres battled all night long, just couldn't come up with a big hit. I mean, that's the bottom line of the whole thing. Andy Pages is killing the Padres. Maybe they woke him up. He's having a good year. Probably going to make the All-Star team, I would think. But last night, 4 for 4 with 2 homers and just hammering the ball all over the yard last night. And, of course, he got hit on Monday night by Dylan Cease. Now, I don't think Dylan Cease intentionally hit on Andy Pages, but there's one caveat to that. Maybe, just maybe, they thought Pages was stealing signs when he got to second base. Remember, he doubled down into the right field corner his first time up? And Cease may have thought that Pages was trying to steal signs, or maybe even in that at bat, peek back at the catcher and try to steal a sign. He drilled him. He drilled him pretty good on the elbow. He had his elbow guard. He was okay, but he was hot under the collar. And, everybody got excited. Everybody kind of came out. The bullpens didn't come out. But the managers came out to, restore order. Mike Shildt, who the hell are you? And I'm cleaning that language up a little bit. So, it all calmed down, but you could feel the pressure. You could feel the pressure. And then last night, Lou Trevino, who, if you recall, was the opener last week here in San Diego, he drilled Tatis trying to go in with a sinker last week and just drilled him. Well, he drilled him again last night. And Trevino didn't have a whole lot. I mean, the Padres let him off the hook last night, too. But he drills Tatis in the third. And then with 1 out in the bottom of the third, Vasquez drills Ohtani. And here's the problem I got with the umpires. I have no problem with Dave Roberts coming out and raising holy hell. I have zero problem with that, because I would have done the same thing if whether I was in high school or college or pro. I would have given the umpires the what for. Okay, they have to get together and take a vote. Well, should we give a warning? Should we give a warning? Should we give a warning? Hey, the home plate umpire or the crew chief calls timeout. You come in, you tell the home plate umpire we're issuing warnings. I thought that was Bush on the umpire's part last night. And I have no problem with Dave Roberts calling bullshit on that. I mean, that ticked me off. Having managed, that's an automatic call for a man. You got to come out. Number one, you're protecting your player. Number two, now it hinders both sides pitching inside. Now, later in the game, Iglesias got hurt. And luckily, the x-rays were negative. He got hit pretty good. But there was no intent there. And it comes down to the umpire's discretion. But I thought Ryan Blakeney, the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson, who I got to believe is the crew chief, and then Trip Gibson's the one that threw Dave Roberts out. And Dave was hot. You don't see Dave Roberts get that bad that often, but he was hot. And Mike Shildt played it the way he should have played it. Just sit over there and, look like you're reading the Sunday paper and take it easy. And, Mike Shildt knows how to play the game. And so does Dave Roberts. Let the managers and the players police themselves on that. And who knows what's going to happen tonight? I mean, there's a lot of heat. Machado was upset when Iglesias got hit, but obviously there was no intent trying to hit Jose Iglesias. Why would you hit Jose Iglesias? He's having a hard time hitting right now. You don't hit the guys that are outs. And I hate to say it, but Jose Iglesias recently is an out. Here's a guy that hit 337 last year. I didn't expect him to hit 337 for the Padres this year, but he's having a hard time right now. But man, he can play some flat out defense. But tempers flared last night. I mean, there's so many things to unpack. Padres now, what, 5 games back in the division, and we'll get to the standings here in a little bit. Dodgers are starting to pull away a little bit. But, the other question, and I got a couple of questions today. Why did Mike Shildt again take out Randy Vasquez? Randy Vasquez threw like 63 pitches last night. He'd gone 5 innings, given up 4 hits and 3 runs, and he threw zeros up in the board in the fourth and fifth. But he decided to go to the bullpen, and man, Jeremiah Estrada, he couldn't get a batter out. Gave up 5 hits and 5 earned runs. Never retired a batter last night. And then Matsui came in, pitched the inning, gave up a hit, a walk, couple of strikeouts. They used Jason Adam because they were trying to keep it a close ball game. He went 1 inning with a hit. Sean Reynolds came in, a third of an inning, a hit, a walk. Adrian Morejon finished it up 2/3 of an inning with a strikeout. Dodger pitching staff on fumes, used 6 pitchers last night. And again, I don't know what the hell the Dodgers are going to do tonight. I will tell you this, and it's kind of like what we saw last week in San Diego when they had Matt Sauer take one for the ball. Remember, Sauer went out there and he ended up giving up 9 earned runs and 13 hits and threw 111 pitches. And they just kept letting him throw, and the Dodgers sacrificed that game. I don't know. I mean, they may start Emmet Sheehan tonight. They may start an opener. You don't know what the Dodgers are going to do, but the back end, they got Vesia, who's healthy, ready to go. I would think maybe Tanner Scott would be available, but maybe not because he threw an inning on Monday night as well as last night. I'm not really sure what the Dodgers have, and they may get to a point tonight. If they're down, they may have Kike Hernandez put his little helmet on and go out and pitch again. They may sacrifice this game to win tomorrow's game and take 3 out of 4. It'll be a very nice chess match tonight between Dave Roberts and Mike Shildt. But the Padres got to find a way to win a ball game. But again, Randy Vasquez, he got taken out the last time out. And I don't understand. You've got to get more length out of your starters. The Padres talk about that, yet they don't follow through on that. I mean, Vasquez, 63 pitches, for crying out loud. That's an extended bullpen workout. And I realize you're going against some of the best hitters in the world, and there's 51,000 fans going crazy and a lot of adrenaline going in and going out of your body. But the last 2 innings, they've thrown up shutout innings. And last night, Vasquez, he didn't walk anybody. He hit Ohtani, hit him pretty good too. But I got a problem with that. But, I want to talk more about the Padres and where the Padres are going. The Padres the last 2 months were an under 500 team. They got off to the great start. They were 5-0. They had an April where they went 14-11. And now the last 2 months they've been under 500. I don't know what the Padres have to trade. I don't think they have a whole lot as far as their minor leagues. We know about Salas hitting 188 in Double-A, not playing, bad back at 18 years of age, just turned 19. Leo DeVries trying to find his way as a young 18-year-old in high A ball, hitting right around, 250, 255. A great talent, switch hitter, can run, got power, just needs to grow and continue to play. Aside from that, I really don't know what the Padres have. I don't think other organizations are clamoring for a bunch of the Padre prospects right now. And, I'm looking at this team right now and I'm going, where the hell are they going? And, I don't like to bag on major league players because I know how tough it is to get there. And I've been around the game a long time. And I know these guys are playing their ass off. And I got great respect for guys that play their butt off. But where's this team going? Where are they going? Can they win the World Series this year? And I know some of you, as I say that, are probably laughing. This team got a lot of holes. I mean, behind the plate, major hole. And I've been told by significant people that the Padres are looking for catching help. They can't go any longer with Martin Maldonado behind the plate. He just doesn't give them enough offense. Great defensive catcher. He boxed that one last night. I don't know if he got crossed up or what, but that ball, he tried to frame it and it just ricocheted off his glove. But you can't go any farther with him. Elias Diaz does not look good at the plate. You can't get rid of both of them. If I had to pick, I'd have to keep Diaz over Maldonado just because he can give you a little bit offensively. And I think he'll get a little bit better. Last night didn't look good at the plate. Second at bat was much better than his first at bat when he came into pinch hit, man. He was uno dos adios. He looked terrible that first at bat. But they need catching help. Left field is a quandary. Until Jackson Merrill comes back, I mean, they're really, really short in the outfield. God love Brandon Lockridge. He plays hard, but he's not an everyday guy. He's not even a fourth outfielder. He's a fifth outfielder on a good ball club, to be honest with you. Okay. Bryce Johnson came up. He hit a little dunker out to right field. Great. But, he's more of a 4A player. And I hate to say that. Guys are wearing a big league uniform, but they're not going to help you win a world championship. Our bullpen, and we're talking about the Dodgers being on fumes, our team is getting there. Our bullpen is getting to be on fumes. Unless our starting pitching can go deeper. And Mike Shildt can not have such a quick trigger with some of his starters. But we don't have the bench depth that we had a year ago with Solano, and I know he's having a rough year in Seattle, but he did a great job last year. David Peralta still looking for a job. I don't know about you, but I don't see this team winning the world title this year. And Michael King, no word on him. He's not even picking up a ball right now. Yu Darvish, we'll talk more about you, but I'm not really expecting a whole lot out of him. But I think it's a valid question right now because you don't have anything in the minor leagues. I don't know what the financial situation is here with the Padres. Everything's been quiet. Everything's been quiet. The Shildt Seidler brothers, what's going on with that? Do the Padres have any money? Do they have any money to go get anybody? Because I don't think they have anything really significant to trade other than Salas and DeVries. And I don't know what people are thinking about Salas now that 19 years old with a bad back and muscle spasms. So I don't know what to tell you right now. But last night, I thought the Dodgers kind of outclassed the Padres. And Padres got to show a little more fight tonight. I know they're playing hard. They got to show more fight tonight. They've got to win a game. Like I said, they can't drop 3 out of 4. They got to get a split. They need to win the next 2 games. Get it back down to 3 games. I mean, if they drop the next 2, they're 7 games out and stick a fork in them for the division title. I never expected them to win the division title, but they're right there, and you got to play better. And now you're starting to play yourself out of the 3rd wild card. So you tell me. And Michael King, I know he's got a contract for next year, but depending if he comes back or doesn't come back, maybe he'll come back because he doesn't pitch anymore and nobody wants to take a chance on him. Got a weird muscle issue going on right now. So, maybe the Padres get him back next year because he doesn't option out of his deal. And they get him by default. I don't know if I want him by default if the guy can't pitch the rest of the year. And I'm not saying he's not. He may come back in 3 weeks. I don't know. Dylan Cease's not going to be back. And he's not pitching very well. You may want to trade him. I mean, you got till July 30th to figure out what you're doing with this ball club going forward. But, Arai's going to be a free agent. Maybe trade him. You get something for him. Get something for Cease down the stretch. I'd trade anybody I could to get something in return. Now, Xander Bogaerts, on the other hand, I don't know what to tell you. I told you Monday, I would love to talk to this guy. He's hitting more ground balls than infield coaches hit during BP. It's unbelievable how many ground balls he's hitting. Pulling off the ball, trying to yank the ball. Use the middle of the diamond. Hit the ball to right center field a little bit. Get on top of the baseball. He's better than this. He's a lot better than this. It's really frustrating to watch for me. But I'm asking you right now, Padre fans, stand up and be counted this morning. Can this team win the World Series? My answer right now is absolutely not. What is your answer? Can they get it back together? I don't know if they can. So I want to hear from you on that. But in the first two games, and especially last night, I thought the Dodgers kind of outclassed the Padres. Now, a positive note. Congratulations to Trenton Brooks from Granite Hill High School, University of Nevada, ripping his first major league home run last night. And man, he hit it deep into the night. That was great. He struck out his first two at bats on Monday night as a designated hitter. First time got called. I thought it was ball, but they called him out against Bonda, and then he struck out swinging his second at bat. But last night, man, he hammered that thing. That trip around the bases had to feel so good for a guy that spent so much time in the minor leagues. That was only his 14th big league game of his career, man. That was a majestic clout for Trenton Brooks. So congratulations to the Granite Hills Eagle on his first major league home run. Okay, let's get to some questions today. I would certainly think we got a lot of questions. If you're watching the show and you don't have a question, you may want to tap on your Apple Watch and make sure you got a heartbeat going today, because you got to have an opinion. You got to have an opinion on the Padres. Matthew, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that, super, my friend. Hope you're having a great day. And feels like Dave regularly outmanages Mike Shildt. I don't know. It's hard to say about outmanaging a guy, but I think Schultz doing a pretty good job. I haven't been particularly excited about the way he handles his pitching staff. Um, I don't know. Mike Schultz a really, really good baseball man. He's not kind of my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I don't know. There's something about him that kind of bugs me. Probably the way he answers questions. He's the artful dodger. And when you ask him a question, you need to be point blank. You can't keep a door open, or he'll take the door that's open. I'd like him one time to say, man, we didn't play well tonight. We just didn't do a good job. He never does that. Now, on the other side, Dave Roberts, when his teams get beat, he'll go, hey, we didn't get the job done tonight. We didn't do this, this, and this. It's okay. You don't have to criticize one individual player. You can talk about as a team. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think Dave has the upper hand. He's one step ahead of most of these guys. Everybody wanted to criticize Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is a pretty damn good baseball manager, and he has grown a lot as a manager over the years. And I also think as he's had success, the way he handles players, I think the front office has given him much more leeway on what he can do, when he can do it, and how he can do it. I think early in his tenure, everybody was a little bit too tight, probably including the manager a little bit. But I think the front office had a lot more to say. And I think after their postseason failures, where they pretty much tried to design the game before the game was ever played by their pitching, and they were making weird changes to their pitching staff during games. I think they've given Dave Roberts a lot of freedom to handle his pitching staff the way he wants. And I don't think that was necessarily the case early on in his tenure up there with the Dodgers. But, Mike Schultz is a really good manager. I think he knows the game inside and out. It just kind of bugs me that he won't admit that his team played a bad game once in a while. That's the only thing that bugs me a little bit. But the guys play hard for him. I think there's accountability. I think he's the best guy they've had since Buddy Black. Maybe not saying a whole lot, but it is what it is. But again, this roster is not a complete roster right now. Got to get Jackson Merrill back. And even Jackson Merrill, he's been in and out of the lineup. He had the hamstring. Now he's got the concussion. I hope he's able to come back against Kansas City, but I'm not going to hold my breath. It may be a little bit longer. He may get back on the homestand, but I don't know if it'll be for the first game against Kansas City. We'll have to wait and see. But Matthew, a good question. Thank you very much again for the super. Okay, what else we got? The O-Siders. Padres will basically give away talent at the deadline to get under the luxury tax threshold. What a sad season. Well, you know what? Still plenty of time to turn it around. It'd be nice if they could start turning it around tonight at 7:10. Now, the other thing about the Dodger games, those games take forever. My wife goes, "Why did they start late?" And I go, "Well, they start late so people can get there." It's like when they play their afternoon games, they play at 12:10. They don't play at 1:10 because they want to try to get people out of the ballpark by 2:30 or 3 so they can get on the freeway and get home. You start at 1:10, guys are hitting the freeway at a little after 4 and not getting home till 7 o'clock at night. But we'll have to wait and see. But, I think if they fall out of it, yeah, they can get in as a wild card and they could probably find a way. I mean, this is a talented team. I mean, just with Machado and Tatis and, Miro gets back healthy. I mean, you got guys that can win more than you lose. But if you're not going to have those guys next year and you're not going to be able to afford to keep the ones you want, go get what you can get. Get some young prospects. We have to start over again. I don't think Manny and Tatis are going to like that. Everybody keeps saying, "Well, trade Bogarts." Well, you know what? Tell him who's going to take Bogarts right now. Well, unless the Padres eat a ton of money, you tell me who's going to take Xander Bogarts right now. I mean, he needs to go on the IL for about 7 days and just work out of athletic competition. Put him on the IL. Let Iglesias play short. If you have to run Cronenworth over there for a game or two, you do that, or Tyler Wade. Take Bogarts out of athletic competition. Let his mind and body relax, and just tell him, "Hey, we're going to meet at the cage every morning at 10 o'clock, and we're going to work. And we're going to go back and we're going to break down tapes of what you did in Boston, what you've done here the first 2.5+ years with the Padres. What changes have you made? What's working? What's not working?" But he needs to be retooled. He really does. And it really starts in between the years with Xander Bogaerts. He's got to be killing himself right now. He got to be beating himself up. I feel sorry for him. I really do, because I know the kid loves the game and doesn't want to disappoint. And man, last night, 0 for 5, banging into 2 double plays last night, and just not getting the job done. But as far as the tax threshold, I'm gonna tell you something. You fans out there are spending a lot of money to go watch this ball club, and you, thick or thin, you men, women, boys, and girls, are getting the job done. And if the Padres trade guys just to get under the threshold, shame on them. Hey, you're going to have good years. You're going to have bad years. If 4 out of the 5 years, and I go back to a talk that I had with Peter Seidler before he hired AJ Preller. He goes, "John, we met at a Chili's restaurant up there right off the 5 freeway, or 805 freeway on Mira Mesa Boulevard, and wanted my thoughts on hiring a general manager." And he was pretty far along with hiring AJ, and he talked to a couple of other people, but he kind of knew he was going to hire AJ. He goes, "Hey, look," he goes, "I want to be a playoff contender and in the mix for 4 out of 5 years." He goes, "You're going to have a bad year. Your pitching goes down, or you have some key injuries, or just have a bad year." Padres right now are having a mediocre year for their talent. I think we expected more, and they got off to a great start. March 5-0, and then at the end of April they're sitting in really, really good shape. And now the last 2 months they're an under 500 ball club. And a lot of it, Darvish hasn't pitched, King hasn't pitched a whole lot. He's been on the IL. Dylan Cease has not been himself. You just don't have the pitching. And, Fernando got off to a hot start. He went into the cooler for a while. Manny's been pretty much hot most of the year as far as average. His power just started to show up in the last 3 weeks or so. But if they trade guys just to get under the threshold and don't get stuff in return that you're going to need for the future, shame on them. Because you fans have gone above and beyond supporting this ball club. So we're going to see where it goes. But, it'd really be nice if they could get these last 2 games, because their schedule's tough. And Kansas City's not a great team, but Kansas City will play, and they'll play hard. And they got a difference maker in Bobby Witt Jr. He's one of the best players in baseball. Finished second in the American League to Big Aaron Judge. How about the Angels shutting out the Yankees last 2 nights? Yankees have got shut out 3 games in a row. They haven't scored in 29 innings. The Yankees. Aaron Judge. Yeah, the Angels will shut him out 1-0. Last night, Tuesday night, got him 4-0. How about that? That's pretty cool. All right, we'll see on that tax threshold, but I like that. Groovy T, have to trade Salas if we want a shot at winning this year. Well, let me ask you, Groovy T, how much are you going to get for Ethan Salas? He's hitting 188 in Double-A, and he hit, what, 206 last year in high A ball? I mean, you got to have scouts that really think this guy is groovy. I don't know how much you're going to get for Ethan Salas. I really don't. I don't think you're going to get a guy that's going to be able to come in here and play left field. Maybe if you trade him to Bog, maybe you can get Jaron Duran. Maybe that's the way you go. And with Duran, if you get Duran, you still got 3 years of control. And maybe that's the direction you go. And all of a sudden that beats your lineup, lengthens that lineup out a little bit. But I really don't know what you're going to get right now for Ethan Salas, who's on the IL, and nobody said boo about when he could be coming back. So I appreciate that, Groovy T. Good question. I love this is the best part of the show for me. Okay. Got to be better second catcher out there. A lot of decent ones have been DFA'd. Well, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. You got to find somebody. And I realize that Maldonado's a great defensive catcher. He calls a great game. But, man, more times than not, you got to give him a tennis racket to hit with. This guy's had a great career. He's 38 years of age. You know, he could probably manage. I don't know if he'll manage in the big leagues. He'll probably manage in winter ball. The guy's a great baseball guy. But you know what? Father Time's undefeated. You got to look out there. There have been guys out there. There's even guys in AAA with major league experience you might want to bring in as your backup. Make Diaz your primary starter, and bring the other guy in. Campusano got sent back down. He was 0 for 18. Obviously, they don't trust him behind the plate. That'd be the easy one. Make him your backup catcher. Let Diaz catch. And say goodbye to Martin Maldonado. But they have no confidence. They never, ever intended for Luis Campusano to catch this year. They brought him up because he was hitting over 300 and swinging the bat very well in AAA, but he ended up going 0 for 18 in 2 different stints in the big leagues this year. All righty, Canipulus, appreciate that. Thank you very much. What else we got here? Zach Cornelius. I'm a Padres fan, so I'm just keeping it real. We haven't been able to beat the Dodger relievers in 6 out of 7 games. Last 2 playoff games. That's unacceptable. Pretenders. Dodgers get it done, man. They get it done. It seems like whoever puts on that Dodger uniform, if they're healthy, they get the job done. I mean, look at Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman was a damn good player with the Cardinals. I have no idea why the hell they traded him. And he was on the IL last year when they traded him. Dodgers get him. He goes down to the minor leagues for 2 or 3 weeks. All of a sudden, guy gets a long-term contract, plays great baseball, hitting in the number 9 spot right now. Man, can you imagine hitting in front of Ohtani? You know you're going to get a lot of fastball, especially in critical situations. But, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, those Dodger relievers. And a lot of those guys are like going through spring training right now. Ohtani's going through spring training. Kopech, he's going through spring training right now. And they look at all the guys they still got on the IL. Blake Trinan. Oh, well, how good was he? He'll be back at some point. See, the Dodgers now, here's what the Dodgers' whole deal is. It has been the entire year. We're going to win the division because we know we got more players than you do. And we're going to make sure when we get to playoff time, all of our guys are raring to go. They're not worried about Blake Snell. I haven't heard word one about Blake Snell. Now, Tyler Glasnow threw a simulated game yesterday. He may be a little bit closer. Hiroki Sasaki, they're not even going to bring him back. He's got an impingement. Hopefully he doesn't end up having to have surgery. But, he'll get healthy. He'll work with the pitching staff and get bigger and stronger, and he'll come out next year and probably be a horse unless he needs some type of surgery. Right now, it doesn't sound like that, but, we'll have to wait and see. But they got all kinds. Brusdar Graterol. I mean, they got 14 guys still on the IL. I don't know if Gonsolin's coming back, but they got Tony Gonsolin. I mean, it's unbelievable. And their guys find a way to get it done. And their big guys show up every night. They may not perform every night, but they show up every night. Freeman, Bet's doing a great job at shortstop. Even Max Muncy has gotten better at third base. I would have never, ever thought that would work out. I thought that would be just the Achilles heel for the Dodgers is Max Muncy at third. But you know what? He's doing a pretty damn good job. And Pages has become a star. Teoscar Hernandez. Conforto's a disaster. They're paying him $17 million. He's hitting 170. He's a disaster. He's another guy that needs to be taken out of athletic competition and go on the side and work with him. He never gets his bat started. He's always trying to have the perfect swing. Man, you got to get up there and be ready to rip the ball. Trying to be too perfect. So, and Ohtani, how about Ohtani? First time he struck out 4 times in a ball game. He got the golden sombrero last night. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Dodgers scored 8 runs last night, and the guys at the top of the order didn't do a whole lot last night. I mean, it's unbelievable. The bottom of the order did a lot of the damage last night. Andy Pages was the guest on TBS last night. Pedro Martinez was breaking it down in Spanish. Yeah, Andy Pages, not Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman or Will Smith. Will Smith, how good is Will Smith, for crying out loud? You talking about having a catcher? My God, he's having an unbelievable year. He's got to be the starting catcher for the National League All-Star team. I mean, there's nobody in baseball hitting better with runners in scoring position than Will Smith. And how about that 12-pitch at bat last night? And he took it out of the old ballpark off of Jeremiah Estrada. Holy Toledo. Yeah, Will Smith, he had 3 hits last night. He's a hell of a player. They signed him to a long-term deal as well. Zach, I don't know what to tell you, but Padres got to find a way to scrap and scrape a victory tonight, and then they'll worry about going against Yamamoto on Thursday night. Man, this is must-watch TV for me. I don't know about you, but this is must-watch TV. Matthew Wallow, thank you very much. Appreciate that. At what point of the season do teams determine if they're buyers or sellers? Fans don't want their team to sell, but when does management look long-term? Well, I think with a lot of the free agents, you got to be looking long-term, short-term, any term. You got until July 30th, the trading deadline. And quite frankly, Matthew, the ball club really decides what the front office is going to do. If you're playing well and you're making a run, you force them to make a move. If you're not playing well, you're going in reverse. That forces the front office to go the opposite direction. Right now, I think the Padres still can make the playoffs. I don't think they can win the World Series with what I'm watching. I'm asking you fans that right now. Is this team is not the team I thought we were going to be. And injuries play a part in it. But also, the bullpen's being used too much. I think we got good guys in the bullpen. I just think they've had to pitch too much. And the starting pitching with Darvish not having thrown one inning, Michael King having not pitched now in a month, you just don't have a whole lot. You got nothing in your farm system. That's the problem. You got nothing in your farm system. The depth of this organization is non-existent right now. Non-existent. So if they make a run, let's say they win 7 out of 10 and everybody's feeling good. The Giants are falling back and the Diamondbacks really can't get it going or keep it going. You take a look at Cincinnati and Milwaukee, what they're doing. You got to gauge, can we get in as a wild card? And if we get in the wild card, can we win? I think in a short series, I think the Padres can win. I think they can run out 3 starters. Hopefully King will get healthy. I'm not counting on Darvish. You might be able, but I mean, Dylan Cease hasn't shown that he can go out there and win a big game. He won 2 games all year. We're in the 4th month of the season right now. He's won 2 games, and his ERA is over 4.7. So I don't know. Right now, we could be sellers, and that kills me because I was expecting a big year, and I was expecting a lot better result against the Dodgers. Dodgers are beating us with their bullpen right now. Dodgers have 2 starters, folks. They got 2 starters right now. That's what they got. They got Yamamoto and they got Clayton Kershaw, who just came back. And by the way, he threw 7 shutout innings his last start. They got 2 starting pitchers. And they've got a 5-game lead over the Padres right now. Matthew, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, what else we got? I got to believe we got some more questions. Okay, tonight we got Stephen Kolek going against Emmet Sheehan. And Stephen Kolek, um, I don't know what to say. I think he's competed well. I think he's done a really good job to this point. Um, and let's see if he can give them length. They need length. They need length tonight more than anything else. And Kolek 3-2 with a 3.50 ERA. And Emmet Sheehan, 25 years of age, 2 years ago, before he went down to have Tommy John surgery, he had a 4-1 record and a 4.92 ERA. Been down in the minor leagues. I think he's pitched 4 times in the minor leagues. They feel pretty good about where he's at right now. I'm sure he's probably got some new tricks up his sleeve from his rookie year, working his way back. So it'll be interesting. Tomorrow, in the final game, again, both these games are going to be at 7:10. You're going to have Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Not a great record. Probably deserves a little bit better. He's 6-5, but a 2.64 ERA. Going against rookie right-hander Ryan Berger, 1-0 and a 2.33. That'll be a big task for Ryan Berger to go up against that Dodger lineup. And you got to wonder if Dave Roberts is going to rest any of his veteran players. We haven't even seen Miguel Rojas, have we? Miguel Rojas, Haesung Kim. Did you see the comment? How about Haesung Kim? Did you see the comment the other day when they asked him in the clubhouse, or are you concerned at all about your playing time and why you're not playing? He goes, no, I'm not as good as a lot of these guys. How about that? The guy's hitting about 390 since coming up. He's given him far more than they thought. I would think he might play tonight. I would think maybe will get him in the lineup tonight. Let him hit down there in that number 9 spot. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But tonight, Kolek against Sheehan. Tomorrow, Bergert against Yamamoto. And of course, we're going to be back in on Friday morning at 9 a.m. to break down the 2 games and get you ready for the Kansas City series. Okay, a little roster update. Nothing major. And I had somebody reach out to me after they put Darvish on the 60-day IL. I go, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter because he's already been out 60 days, and it's just a paperwork move. And the reason it was, they sent Camposano down. They brought up Bryce Johnson, and he wasn't on the 40-man roster. And a good job by Bryce. First pitch, a little base hit to right field last night. But they needed to add him, so they put Darvish on the 60-day IL. Bryce Johnson's contract was officially selected from El Paso, and he can play all 3 outfield positions. You know, he's kind of another version of Brandon Lockridge. Lockridge, I think, has a little more power. Lockridge, did you see Lockridge last night when Paz's home run went out and he thought he could catch it, and he took his glove off and slammed it on the ground? That tells you the intensity in this series. But Darvish, placed on the 60-day IL. Tuesday night, Darvish threw a bullpen. I don't know how many pitches he threw. He is so far away from coming back. Let's not fool ourselves. Mike Shildt said afterwards that Friday or Saturday, Darvish will throw a simulated inning, maybe a little bit more. So if he's only going to maybe throw 1 simulated inning or maybe 4 outs in a simulated game, how can he go out and pitch in a major league game here in the next month? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we can't count on Darvish at all, I don't think. I really don't. So there you have it. Okay, we got to get to a couple of other things before we get out of here. I want to get to our coach's mailbag in a second, but I do want to mention San Diego State. San Diego State hired a baseball coach. And very interesting hire, to say the least. They hired a Torrey Pines graduate of 2008, a young man by the name of Kevin Vance, who the last couple of years has been the pitching coach at Arizona. They got to the College World Series, and they get the old 0 for 2 in a barbecue. And so the Aztecs announced he's the new head baseball coach. They're holding a press conference here at 10 o'clock this morning. Kevin Vance played at Torrey, played at UConn, drafted by the White Sox in the 19th round, played 5 years of professional baseball, got as high as AAA. Then he became a volunteer assistant at his alma mater, UConn. Then he spent 5 years as a recruiting coordinator and assistant coach at Rhode Island, the last 2 years at Arizona. He's a smart, bright guy, understands the game. Like I mentioned, he played shortstop and then pitched as well. Going to be interesting what they do at San Diego State. Do they really want to have a good baseball program there? If they do, they're going to have to get to work. And just not the coaching staff. And I have no idea who he's going to hire and what kind of coach he is. I'm sure he's got a pretty good pedigree. And if you come out of Torrey, you're probably pretty. I think he played for Matt Chess, a damn good coach at the time, and he could have played for Matt Livingston, a guy that played for me. I don't know. And in fact, my grandson's going to Matt Livingston's baseball camp next week. Work on fundamentals, all about fundamentals. But I'll do a little more dive on Kevin. But I remember him playing at Torrey, being a star player at Torrey. He's got a lot of work to do. There are players that were in the portal. Some of them are still in. Some of them are out. Some of them may come back. But they've got to upgrade Tony Gwynn Stadium. They've let that thing get away from them. Lack of attention by the administration out there, facilities. They got to get that thing up and running again. And Aztecs have to decide really if they want to have a good baseball program or not. Everybody has said for the last 30 years it's a sleeping giant. Well, it's been sleeping all right. It's not been good. Mark Martinez had a pretty good run. Tony had mixed results. He won 363, lost 363. He was a 500 coach there. Mark Martinez did a pretty good job. Sean Cole obviously has struggled. Not sure how much help he's gotten from the administration out there. Everybody's got to be pulling the rope in the right direction. In college baseball, you get 11.7 scholarships. With the House settlement now, there's no limit. You can go up to 34 scholarships. I don't expect San Diego State or a lot of other schools to go up to 34. It's a lot of money involved. But if you want to have a good program, you got to pay the freight. And San Diego State, I'm very anxious to see how football goes this year. You got to be better than 3-9. They're opening up on August 28th against Stony Brook on a Thursday night. That'll be the first time we see Sean Lewis's second go around as the head coach of the Aztecs. But basketball's in good shape. Softball's in good shape. Some of the other sports are in great shape. But you got to get football and baseball rolling. And baseball, you got a lot of talent here, but you can't live off of just San Diego talent. You gotta go everywhere. And I would hope that Kevin Vance, and having worked at UConn, having been at Rhode Island, not that there are a lot of players in Rhode Island, the state. He knows where he can go get guys. And who knows, maybe there'll be some guys at Arizona that don't want to stay at Arizona, or they're grad students. They want to come to San Diego State because they like Kevin Vance and they've worked with Kevin Vance. We'll have to wait and see. Anxious to see who he hires on his staff. But you got a San Diegan now coaching San Diego State. Same thing over at USD. You got Brock Ungrich doing a nice job at USD, a Mission Bay grad, San Diego State grad. And Eric Newman, who didn't go to school here, but doing a great job at UC San Diego. Right now, by far, the third best Division I program in San Diego is San Diego State. I mean, USD, UC San Diego have had some success. And San Diego State hadn't had a whole lot of success the last few years. So I wish Kevin Vance the very, very best. And hopefully we're able to help him out a little bit. We want to see all of our Division I baseball programs, get an opportunity to go to postseason play. So that's that. Okay, let's get to Coach's mailbag. See what we got today. Pete Stewart. Hey, Coach, when there is a hitter that has hit Ohtani in retaliatory pitch of Vasquez, I'm assuming it's called by the manager, Shildt. Does the entire team knows it's coming? Pete, I don't think managers tell pitchers to throw at hitters. I think when you've been raised around the game, you kind of know what needs to be done. And I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if any of these were intentional pitches. I really don't. I mean, Trevino was awful last night. And he hit Tatis in San Diego a week ago, but his control wasn't very good. I think going against Ohtani, I think Vasquez, I think, is a pretty mild-mannered guy, just overthrew that pitch. The only one that I think really comes into question maybe is Monday night with Cease hitting Pages because maybe he thought he was stealing signs. Unwritten rule, man, you don't steal signs. If you do, you're going to pay the price. Pajes didn't like it. Padres woke him up by hitting him, and the guy went crazy last night. But I think in the old days, managers may say, hey, this guy's going down. But I don't think Mike Shildt told Randy Vasquez to hit him. Maybe, one of the players, maybe one of the leaders of the team said, hey, man, we got to get back after they hit Toddy. We got to get somebody. And you're not going to hit a guy like Jose Iglesias, who they hit later in the game, but that was totally unintentional. I'm glad he's going to be okay. But no, I don't think nowadays the managers are going to go that direction. But that's a good question, though. But like I said, I had no problem with Dave Roberts raising holy hell last night. I would have done the same thing. And I think on the other side, Mike Shildt would have gone crazy as well if that would have happened to his hitter and they would have thrown out a warning. All right, what else we got out there? Pete, thanks again. Stunned Thunder. What has been the Padres' kryptonite these last two series? Disappointing outings. Disappointing outings. Not hitting with runners in scoring position. That's become a big one. Last night they did a better job in that area, but man, they were 1-for-8 Monday night and lost 6-3. Out hit 10-6 that night, and then last night they were out hit 12-9. Last night they were 3-for-10 with runners in scoring position, but had the bases loaded 3 different times and only got a sac fly out of it. So bullpen. It all comes down to pitching. And the Dodgers, man, they're on a roll. They took 2 out of 3 from the Padres, 2 out of 3 from the Giants, and right now they've taken the first 2 from the Padres. Okay, what else we got? We got one more question here. Mike Wells, 45. When is King coming back? Seems fishy, and we could really use him. It does sound a little bit fishy. From what I understand, I thought it was in the neck, but I think it's more down around the shoulder blade somewhere that muscle spasm locked up on him, the pinched nerve. And they're trying to get that released, and they feel once that releases, then he ought to be able to get back throwing. But that's what I've been told. I thought it was more in the neck, like up in here, but it's down closer to his shoulder blade, I believe, somewhere down in that area. So, you got to take these injuries with a grain of salt with the Padres. They always underplay them, and then all of a sudden the guy's having surgery of some kind. And hopefully that's not the case for Michael King. Okay, we got another one? Oh, no, that's it. Okay. Well, hey, good show today. A lot to talk about. Again, I'm going to ask you, folks. Can this team win the World Series? Right now, what I'm seeing, roster, productivity, absolutely 100% no. Can they make the playoffs? Yes. But if you make it as the third team in the playoffs, yeah, you're in. We'll get all excited. We'll get our pom-poms and we're all of our Padre garb. But at the end, we get eliminated. We're going to be missing out on maybe making some valuable moves, sending veterans out that aren't coming back and guys you don't plan on bringing back to where maybe you got some good young talent. We got to get this farm system up and running again. We got to develop some players. We have no depth whatsoever. We're having to bring up 4A players to fill out our roster right now. So leave the comments down in the box. And please, very much appreciate any comments, and we'll talk about them on Friday. Again, we'll be on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Until then, this is Coach John Kentera. Let's hope that we can enjoy tonight and Thursday night's game. And the only way we're going to enjoy it is if the Padres pull off a couple of wins. But we'll talk about it all on Friday morning. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications. And again, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Until Friday morning, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.